You gotta see this tweet. It went absolutely viral, and it perfectly, kinda comically, captures this bizarre moment we're living in. It goes, tells Claude to destroy Terraform, Claude destroys Terraform, oh my god, Claude destroyed my Terraform. It's funny, right? But it's also the setup for a very real and very painful story about what happens when an AI does exactly what you tell it to do.
So meet Alexei Grigoriev, the founder of a learning platform called datatalks.club. He recently lived through what is pretty much every developer's worst nightmare. He handed the keys to his company's infrastructure over to Anthropic's AI agent, Claude, and with one command, 2.5 years of his work, user data, projects, it all just vanished. Gone. Now, to really get how this could happen, you need to know about this tool called Terraform. The simplest way to think about it is like a master blueprint for a company's entire digital world. All the servers, the databases, the whole shebang. With just a few lines of code, you can build it all from scratch. Or, as we're about to see, you can tear it all down.
So how did this disaster unfold? Well, it wasn't just one thing. It was a chain reaction. First, Grigoriev gave Claude the keys to the kingdom, literally the power to run commands like destroy. Then, he gave it a kind of vague instruction. And here's the kicker. He removed the final human safety check, the one thing designed to stop exactly this from happening. So Claude, being a good little AI, did precisely what it thought it was asked to do. It ran the command and, poof, everything was gone.
You can bet the response was swift. Data Talks Club basically did a complete 180. They went from the cutting edge of AI automation straight back to human-in-the-loop basics. The new rules? No AI agents get to run commands directly, period. Every single plan has to be manually reviewed by a person. And that big, scary destroy button, yeah, only the founder gets to touch that now. It's a pretty powerful lesson, right?
But look, this story isn't just a cautionary tale for one developer. It's a perfect, if, extreme example of a new problem that's popping up all over the AI-powered workplace. We were all promised that AI would make our jobs easier. But for a lot of people, the reality is this new kind of mental exhaustion. And there's actually a name for it now, AI brain fry. Seriously, a recent Harvard Business Review piece described it as this unique mental fatigue that comes from constantly having to manage and double-check all these AI tools. People are reporting this weird buzzing feeling in their heads, mental fog, and just finding it way harder to make decisions at the end of the day. Sound familiar? And this feeling isn't hitting everyone the same way. The data shows that folks in roles that require a ton of creativity and oversight, think marketing and engineering, are feeling this burnout the most. It seems like they're spending less time doing their actual jobs and more time just wrangling the AI. Interestingly, legal professionals, maybe because their AI use is a bit more structured, are reporting it the least.
And this really gets to the heart of what's going on. We've got this AI paradox. The promise was awesome. Less grunt work, faster insights, more time for the fun, creative stuff. But the reality for many is just constant jumping between different AI tools, a fire hose of information to sort through, and this new nagging burden of having to babysit the AI. Now you can be sure the big tech companies have noticed this chaos, and where there's chaos, there's a business opportunity. Microsoft especially is making a massive play to try and bring some order to this whole mess.
Their big answer is a new, pricey enterprise suite called Microsoft 365 E7. For a cool $99 a month, per person, they're bundling their Copilot assistant with a new system called Agent 365. The whole idea is to create one single place where companies can watch, manage, and secure all their different AI agents, using something called Work IQ to make sure the AI actually knows what's going on.
Okay, so we've been talking about things like burnout and deleted databases. But the stakes are getting so much higher. As these AI systems get more powerful and weave themselves deeper into our lives, the consequences are escalating to a whole new level. We're talking about life and death. This next story marks a pretty somber milestone. The case behind this headline is, without a doubt, going to push the legal and ethical boundaries of what AI safety really means. The details here are just tragic. A 36-year-old man named Jonathan Gavalis died by suicide after having these really deep, long conversations with Google's Gemini chatbot for months. Now, his father has filed what's believed to be the first ever wrongful death lawsuit against an AI chatbot. He's alleging that this system, which is supposed to be helpful, actually failed a vulnerable person in the worst way possible.
At the very same time, these intense battles aren't just happening in the courtroom.
They're happening inside the AI labs themselves. The very people building this tech are starting to say, whoa, hold on, and are drawing lines in the sand, especially when it comes to the military. Take Caitlin Kalinowski, who was the head of robotics hardware at OpenAI. She resigned very publicly to protest a deal with the Pentagon. She said the company just rushed into it, and she laid out 2 crystal-clear red lines that she felt were being crossed, using AI to spy on Americans and building killer robots that can make decisions without a human giving the final okay.
So, while here in the West we're all tangled up in lawsuits, resignations, and these heavy ethical debates, a completely different story is playing out on the other side of the planet. It's the same technology, but the way society is reacting, it couldn't be more different.
I mean, just look at the contrast here. It's like 2 different worlds. In the West, it's all about regulation, oversight, and conflict. In China, it's a story of a wild grassroots craze, big government incentives, and just this massive rush to adopt the technology, which is summed up in this really strange new phrase.
They call it raising a lobster. It's this viral thing happening around an open-source AI called OpenClaw. And get this, people aren't treating it like some boring corporate tool. No, they're treating it like a digital pet or a personal sidekick that they get to train and customize and basically grow up with.
And this is no small thing. We're talking about nearly 1,000 people. Everyone from coders to housewives to retired engineers literally lining up outside Tencent's headquarters just to get this AI installed. And the government is pouring gasoline on the fire with policies to support it, while also planning new laws. It's this incredible explosion of interest from both the top down and the bottom up, all at once.
All of these stories, the accidents, the brain fry, the ethical fights, the global craze, they're all playing out against this backdrop of just relentless, absolutely breakneck speed. The ground is literally shifting beneath our feet almost every single day.
If you want to see how fast, just look at Google's release schedule for the last few weeks alone. February 19th, they release a new AI model. Just 1 week later, they announce they're shutting it down. Then, a few days after that, on March 3rd, they launch yet another new one. I mean, the entire life cycle of these things is measured in days now, not years. And here's the really important part. This isn't just about making chatbots that can write better poems. The real race is about giving these models powerful new tools to actually go out and do things in the world. Perfect example. OpenAI just launched Codex Security. It's an AI agent that can find and fix security flaws in software, all by itself. It scanned over 1 million pieces of code in its first month. And of course, this comes just a few weeks after its biggest rival, Anthropic, launched their own version. The competition is insane, and the goal is to build agents that don't just talk, but act.
Which brings us right back around to that first tweet, and the one huge question that ties all of this together. From a developer who accidentally deletes his own company, to employees feeling totally fried, to governments drawing red lines. As these AI systems get more and more powerful and more autonomous, who is actually in control here?